We all understand the type of climate that we're dealing with. We're dealing with multiple offer situations.
I'd love to know sort of what's your why? What makes you tick? Why are you so successful?
Have a dialogue with your lawyer. Have a dialogue with your agent.
Both sort of passionate about sort of what we do.
Again, vet your agent to make sure that they're experienced and they're local. I like that idea.
No excuse to miss it on Saturdays from 8 to 9.
That's right.
WBZ.
And now, the show that gives you the latest and most relevant housing market news. Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shearer and legal professional Ali Alavi.
Rick and I have this debate pretty much every week, which is, ultimately what are the rates going to do in the next 12, 14, 16 months? But the take-home message here is buy now.
Right, buy now, because the rates are just so good. And it's just, like I said earlier, it gives you more buying power. So if it's competitive, and now is when you want it. And I agree that I think I lean a little bit more towards Rick, where I do feel that they are going to start to tick up just a little bit, but I don't see them jumping significantly, because I think we would lose all the momentum that we've started. So I do feel that there is a gradual uptick that we're going to see in the rates, and it would be interesting to see where we are by the end of 2016. I don't think that they'll be, so significant, but it is a great time in the market. In the area that we're in right now, we're seeing some of the smaller, more affordable homes are, for lack of a better term, they're flying off the shelf if it's in that affordable price range for a first-time home buyer.
Sure. They're
turning into bidding wars and going. Obviously, some of the, more expensive homes where maybe somebody has to sell one home to purchase another, it's still moving quickly, and obviously different areas are different, but we can't hold on to the ones that are priced competitively because it's very affordable. People are, they can buy a home versus paying rent. Why not?
Sure.
Elise, how would that? This market is rather crazy right now. In terms of VA loans, how are the veterans faring in that battle?
I'm saying, how are the what?
How are the veterans faring in that?
The veterans.
Yes.
Well, see, again, a lot of it is the education of the market and the realtors. When we do our VA loans, we don't consider them different than any other type of loan program that's out there. I think what scares people a little bit is, and I don't mean to push it back on the realtors, is that you're seeing a pre-qualification letter where it looks like someone isn't putting any money down, because the VA is a no money down program. It allows people to do 100% financing. And when people see that, they think that, maybe they aren't as qualified, it's going to take longer for the approval, it won't go as smoothly. It doesn't mean that the veteran doesn't have the funds, it just means that they don't have to use them. And if the payment is comfortable for them, they can go that route. Now, they can do a VA loan with money down, it's just that it's not required. When we do them, they don't take any longer than any other type of loan. That being said, they do have a few extra things, like where we are a little bit more particular on the appraisal. There can't be peeling paint or any safety issues. And we do require a pest inspection, and if there are any issues, that has to be addressed. But other than that, they run, just like any other type of loan program. So when we bring in a VA loan, we, turn them around in the exact same time of any other file that we have, and it's an extremely competitive, great program for the veteran. And I do always say, you can compare the VA loan to any other loan program that's out there, but if somebody has that VA eligibility, they will always take advantage of the VA loan because it is the better loan program for them. So it would be great if people weren't afraid of it, because it's such a competitive program and it's a great program for the borrower.
Obviously, there's a need.
Sure.
And I think that need is fairly evident. I mean, you're dealing with someone who's lived in the property for 30, 40 years. They have an emotional attachment to this particular property. They've accumulated a ton of stuff over time, right? Some of that they have an emotional attachment to. Some of it, maybe their kids have an emotional attachment to. There is a need, right?
Absolutely.
How do you manage that need?
Well, that's really what we specialize in. First of all, it's all about setting expectations and working with the family. We like to say that we focus on transitions, not just transactions.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually give seminars at assisted independent living locations and other places that seniors gather on downsizing and selling, because it's the downsizing, as you mentioned. They all got a lot of stuff, right? And it's a lot to deal with, and it's daunting for seniors. So for them, it's a whole process. And we start very early in that process with education. We are patient, and we work with them sometimes for years in advance of them actually making the move. And then we help them with the downsizing and the move. On the other hand, Sometimes they just wait until it's too late, deer in the headlight syndrome, as Larry said earlier. And what happens is I get called sometimes when there's an emergency, when there's been a slip and fall, or perhaps even if someone's passed away, you've got out-of-town children, they can't really deal with the seniors, so they call us. And it's not surprising sometimes that I walk in and I see not only one of my ads, because I advertise in the 50-plus Advocate and other senior papers, but sometimes 2 or 3. And I say, why did you wait? Why did you wait? They said, well, we knew you'd be available as a resource, or we went to your seminar and we just weren't ready yet.
I was going to ask you about how you market yourself so that people are aware you're there, but I think you touched on a little bit. You're doing seminars.
And a great deal of networking with this, with other people in the senior market, with the state attorneys, with geriatric care managers, and with the vast support system for seniors.
And coming on realestateradio.com.
That's right. That's right. That's
Right,
the other
exactly.
reason. Now, in terms of, you provide full service, and you help them with getting it moved and getting it packed and getting it bundled and that sort of thing?
Yes. What we tell them is that we manage the move for free. Now, we don't do the move. But we'll hook them up with resources like Mastodon for the move, with packers, with people that will sometimes appraise antiques or buy antiques. We'll hire the dumpster. We'll hire some guys to do the clean out, that kind of thing. But we don't hire them, actually. I misspoke. What we'll do is we'll simplify that process by providing quotes from 2 or 3 vendors. They hire them, but we knit it all together. They don't. We do this all the time. They only do it once, so it's overwhelming for them. We can manage it for them and set their expectations.
There's this concept of move management. How long of a planning should a homeowner sort of build in as far as bringing you in, having you make an assessment, and how long of a time does it take for you to actually create that management, if you will?
It's easy to go into a move. My guys know how to go into a move and just handle it, whether we have a move plan or not. But it's so much better when we have a 2 to 3 week lead period to be able to come in, assess, and really discuss what are the major needs, what the customer needs, and what we need to accomplish. And that way, nothing's rushed. Things aren't, going too fast. With these closings, I pushed it from a 2 to 3 day with this particular move, and trust me, we needed that, and that helped the move go super smooth. And that was, us managing the move. And on top of that, move management, as David had talked about too, it's a lot to take in, especially with downsizing. We're working with a hoarder right now, and what we have to do is we actually have to go in there and tell her how can we get rid of things, what needs to come to this new house so that they don't do it again, and really come up with a plan of what goes where in the new house, and everything has a place to help them kind of get over this, disease, really, because it is something that is hereditary and has been pushed by their parents, and it's something that you have to be kind of really hand-holding and give them options of how to work it. And it's an emotional experience, and they're going to have to, really work to listen and work to push through these things, because it's not easy for them. But this is what we want to do to give them that relief of chaos, relief of coming home to, not the way they want it.
So let me ask you this. We're talking about planning. We're talking about move management. We're talking about managing people's expectations, emotions. Let's talk about weather. All right. So, we've seen unpredictability of the weather this past week and before. I've got $100,000 worth of art. I've got a $50,000 grand piano. I do not want it to get wet. I do not want it getting scratched. How do you deal with that? You've got some really interesting ways of being able to manage weather, don't you?
Yeah, so we're in New England, right? And there's no moving companies that are doing enough about it. They come in, maybe they'll just have indoor-outdoor guys, but what we really do is I push my guys really hard to use all of the equipment that I buy, such as floor runners in the house, floor runners runners outside of the home, sticky mats once you get into the house, covering the doors, covering the banisters, all these different types of ways to keep the snow and the salt and the sand out of the house. On top of that, I did build a canopy that comes off of our truck so that the truck isn't getting wet and the ramp stays dry, and it goes about 15-20 feet all the way up into, hopefully close to the house. We're perfecting it more and more, but these are the things that no one else is providing these days, and it's something that is needed. I don't want to move $500,000 of stuff that I'm insuring, into a house because it's close day and it's snowing. It's something that you really want to try to avoid, and that's why it's also good to have these lead times. As David said, it's not good to have it right at the end of it, when it's last minute and you need to all of a sudden, we need to get this done. No, it's not the way to do it. You have to take the time and you have to do it right so that the stress is relieved.